Sasol Rally fans, and it's the rally that every driver wants to win the most. So far, it's been a pretty even battle between 9 Sasol South African Rally Championship.
With 2 rounds for a quarter of the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship already under the belt, the battle at the top is very close. Johnny Gemmel and Sasol Toyota won in KwaZulu-Natal, but BP Volkswagen and Hergen Vekken bounced back in the Western Cape by winning one of the closest battles we've ever
And a third, while Vekken scored a third and a win, resulting in a tie at the top of the championship leaderboard. Hubbeck is only 6 points adrift and still within striking distance, while Wilken places his production car in a fantastic fourth, just 9 points behind the leaders.
We now head here to the rough and tricky gravel roads of the Mpumalanga forests. This is not only round 3 of the Sasol South African Rally Championship, but this rally is the Sasol.
And this means that once again, thousands and thousands of fanatical rally fans have descended upon the beautiful town of Sabi for the start of the famous and very popular Sasol Rally. For these fans, the Sasol is much more than just a rally, but also an experience for the whole family and an opportunity to visit, which is arguably one of the most scenic parts of the country. The 19th Sasol Rally also allows South African oil and fuel giant Sasol to offer the spectators a wealth of entertainment, both on and off the stages, as well as the opportunity to showcase their products and initiatives to the fans, making it a glamorous occasion. The reveal of the Sasol Techno Oil Centre even attracted the attention of South African motorsport legend Sarel van der Merwe. With only minutes to go before the start of the 2009 Sasol, it was time for the drivers and navigators to focus on the tough challenges that lay ahead. After claiming his first victory of 2009 during the previous event and sharing the top spot on the championship points log, Hergen Vekken's title defense is now well on track. But perhaps it's a little too early to start thinking about championships just yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's way too early. You know, this is the third event. Anything can still happen. You know, you can have a flat wheel or something.
Someone who might be thinking about a championship is Johnny Gemmel. The Castrol Toyota driver had a fantastic start to the season and ties with Vekken on points.
We have to think about that as well. No, this is only the third event, still 5 to go after this one.
With 6 titles under the belt, Jan Hubbeck is definitely somebody who knows what it takes to win championships. And although it's still early days, he again finds himself within striking distance.
Nowadays, with all the amount of competitors that win rallies, I think it's important to score points on every event.
Castrol Toyota's Mark Cronier is lightning quick, but has had a tough time of late. During the previous round, his technicians amused him by placing a large red learner sticker on the back of his Aurus.
Well, I don't know where you got the learner sticker from, but it's the L team, so we call the L team. Not A and B, we L. But yeah, we've got a big task ahead of us, so we're going to try and keep it clean.
With only one 5th place finish to show after 2 events, Enzo Keen will not be happy with his 2009 campaign so far. But the 2006 champion has won the Sasol on many occasions, including last year, and will be a firm favourite to once again claim the top spot.
I think we love the forest, you know, and I like the forest, and the cars handle well here.
Luck, or the lack of it, has forced Jean-Pierre Damso out of both events so far this year. So what can he do to change it?
This game is a game of averages, you know. Sometimes you'll get 2 in a row that doesn't work for you, and then hopefully after that it starts working. So I hope this is the one.
Tian Schubert has only done 2 events in the top S2000 class, but 2 successive top 10 finishes sees the Polokwane businessman 5th on the overall championship standings. Japie van die Kerk has shown excellent speed on both events so far this year and could upset the factory drivers. Fernando Rueda was forced to retire with gearbox trouble in the Western Cape, but the Total Evolution Runx is back and will be looking for another good result. Nicholas Ryan scored his maiden podium on the Sasol during 2008, but was forced to miss the previous round in Cape Town due to budget restraints. For this year's Sasol, the unsponsored Runx returns, bringing the total number of S2000 machines to 10.
I'm actually just happy I'm here. Just put as much spare sense together as possible, found some good second-hand tyres, and we're going to do as well as we can today.
Although in a different fight, the leading production Subarus and Mitsubishi Lancers will once again attempt to spoil the S2000 party. Charles Wilken is the current production car champion and currently occupies 4th position on the points table. But the Sasol Konica Minolta driver finds himself in a difficult position.
Sasol's always a difficult rally, and I'm in a sort of catch-22. Should I chase past the 2,000 cars or try and consolidate the production car championship?
Visser du Plessis and his similar Pertec machine usually only has one strategy, and that is to go flat out. The Sasol will probably be no different.
The pressure is on me now to start performing, so you know, I can take the easy way out and we'll see how it goes, but we have to go hard.
Young Zimbabwean Chase Atwell was unlucky to be excluded from the Cape Town results due to alleged road section infringement, and will try to record his first finish in the top production car class.
This year's edition of the Sasol is about to get underway. And this is what they'll be facing.
The Mpumalanga forests around Sabi, Graskop and White River are pretty to look at from far away, but the rally roads inside them are as rough and tough as they come. It's a notorious car breaker with obstacles waiting around every corner. There's absolutely no room for error, making it an unforgiving place.
It's rough, it's technical, big trees next to the sides.
They're lovely roads, but they really have got very big rocks, known as crocodiles. But they always come out and bite you. If you just put one wheel off, you're going to be very lucky not to leave a wheel behind.
Keep all the wheels on the track, because as soon as you go and stick the wheels in the grass on the side, you will find something.
On the 19th running of the famous Sasol Rally, the crews will face 14 special stages that cover 170 kilometers, with a total route of 470 kilometers. The rules forced the 10 fastest drivers in South Africa to draw for their starting positions on day one. No one ever wants to draw the dreaded number one, and on the Sasol, this burden fell on the shoulders of Nicholas Ryan. Japie van Niekerk got number 2, while the production cars of Visser du Plessis and Charles Wilken entered the stages in 3rd and 4th respectively. Mark Cronje drew number 5 ahead of Volkswagen teammates Fecken and Habig. JP Damso, Enzo Kuhn and Johnny Gemmel would complete the top 10.
2009 Sasol Rally, come on, let's help them out.
At only 8.77 kilometers, stage 1 or York is a relatively short opener that won't really allow the drivers to settle into any sort of rhythm, but is going to be an indication of what the speed on the Sasol is going to be like.
Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra are the first ones to break the silence as their unsponsored Runx blasts into stage 1 on the outskirts of Sabi, setting the benchmark time of 6 minutes and 16 seconds. The new Africa Development's Toyota Runx of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton started 2 minutes later and covered the nearly 9 kilometers in a time of 6 minutes and 17 seconds, or 1 second slower than Ryan. Visser du Plessis and Gerard Snyman have their sights set on a production car win. The Pertec Subaru recorded a time of 6 minutes and 8 seconds, the fastest so far. Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich are the production car points leaders and open up their Sasol Rally account with a time of 6 minutes and 9 seconds, in spite of having a puncture on the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru.
I think we've got a puncture at the back. We've got about the last 2Ks, so yeah, pity.
Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley were now the first of the factory teams to tackle stage 1 in their Castrol Toyota Auris and crossed the flying finish in a time of 6 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous on the front end of the wrap. So yeah, from that perspective, we just try to keep it clean and get the rally started.
6th on the road is the ideal position for current champions Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris to launch their attack from. But with a time of 6 minutes and 5 seconds, the BP Ultimate Volkswagen was 2 seconds slower than Cronje.
Yeah, it's a bit rough and it's a bit grassy, so you can slip wide.
BP Ultimate teammates Jan Habig and Douglas Judd completed stage 1 in 6 minutes and 6 seconds, just 3 seconds slower than Cronje's benchmark time. It was now up to JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen in the Total Evolution Runnix to have their first say on the Sasol. And they did by winning this stage in a ballisting time of 5 minutes and 59 seconds. On such a short stage, times are usually close. Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson flew past the finish in a time of 6 minutes and 8 seconds. But the BP Ultimate Polo was now already 9 seconds behind the leaders. From 10th on the road, the Castrol Toyota Auris of Johnny Gemmler and Peter Marsh gave away 7 seconds to the leader Damso.
Stage 1 was short, followed by a chance to service the rally machines. But the crews now face 22 kilometers of Stage 2, as well as another 19 kilometers in Stage 3, without any service in between. To make it even worse, Stage 2 is lined with what Fernando Rueda likes to call crocodiles, or obstacles waiting around every corner. Punctures will therefore be a real concern, and a problem on Stage 2 will also haunt you on Stage 3.
After missing the previous event in Cape Town, Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer were welcomed back to rallying by carrying the burden of sweeping the roads on the Sasol. Ryan was just happy to be back, but the Runnix was busy preparing another surprise.
The power steering is gone. Wow, that's heavy on your hands.
His time on Stage 2 was 9th fastest, but he dropped out of the top 10 on Stage 3. But things were about to get even worse for Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton. The new Africa Development's Runnix was going well early on during Stage 2 when they noticed the problem. They were the first ones to get bitten by a crocodile.
70. Adverse jump.
What do you think?
I think we're going to have to change. Still 9.5 k's to go. Yeah, find a place. Not going to get through it like this.
It takes a few agonizing minutes to replace a flat wheel, and after they got going again, Van Niekerk noticed another problem. They arrived at the end of stage around 5 minutes late and still had Stage 3 to run.
So to change the tyre, left front, we've got another flat tyre, so the next stage we're going to go, but we start with the flat tyre, so not the best Sasol.
After setting similar times on Stage 1, Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich in their Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru were now locked in battle with a similar Pertec machine of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman. Du Plessis was ahead of Wilken on the road, but it was the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru of Wilken who emerged from the forest at the end of Stage 2.
Yeah, it seems like Visser's standing next to the road, and Japie seems to have a puncture, so...
Wilken then entered Stage 3 in his quest to claim a third successive production car win and drove hard to record a time of 13 minutes and 28 seconds. Minutes later, the Pertec Subaru of Du Plessis and Snyman did manage to complete Stages 2 and 3, but the Pretoria driver lost loads of time in what turned out to be a very eventful Friday morning of the Sasol.
Stage 1 we were the fastest N4, and as we were on our way to Stage 2, the car just died for 26 minutes, so we took 26-minute lateness, and then in Stage 2 for some reason that I don't know, we had a flat front wheel, and this last stage we were in Uberge dust, and we lost 4 to Charles.
Next up, the Castrol Toyota Auris of Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley. During 2008, BP Volkswagen had a vintage year with little opposition from Toyota. But this year is a different story. The Castrol Toyota team is really taking the fight to BP Volkswagen, thanks to inspiring drives like this one from Cronje. The youngster set the third fastest time on Stage 2 and went one better in Stage 3.
Well, again, we just took it with caution, so we'll have to see how cautious the other guys are.
But one still gets the feeling that to win a rally, you have to beat the BP Ultimate Polo of current champions Hergen Fekken and Pierre Harries. During 2008, Fekken cleaned up on 4 out of the 8 events and already has a win under the belt for 2009. But the famous Sasol is the elusive one and the rally that Fekken wants to win most.
This is my favorite event. I've always enjoyed it. My father used to organize this event, so I really like to win it. He organized the first Sasol. And so I think it's 17 years since then, so I'd like to win it at some stage.
Fekken was determined and set the fastest time on Stage 2 and again on Stage 3 to take the overall rally lead. It appeared that Fekken was on his way to achieve his Sasol Rally dream. Someone with their own dreams, however, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd. Habig is a 6 times national champion and Judd a 7 times Navigators champion. And there is no doubt that the BP Ultimate pairing still have dreams of adding even more titles to their already long list. This dream, however, received a major blow when Habig appeared at the end of stage 2 around 2 full minutes off the pace.
Yeah, we got a punch here 5k, 15 k's from the end, so and we decided not to change it, so we drove 15 k's on front left.
With stage 3 still to go, emergency roadside repairs were required. JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen are by far the unluckiest people in South African rallying, but the Total Evolution team is also one of the quickest around. Damso started stage 2 as the rally leader, but ran into the dust left hanging in the air by Habig's Polo and lost more than half a minute as a result. Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson pushed hard as always on the event that he has won so many times before. But on stage 2, the BP Ultimate Polo driver had to contend with a different kind of a problem.
Yeah, we had a fire in the car. We didn't know what was going on.
The 2006 champion still managed to record the 4th fastest time in spite of the fire, but lost another 9 crucial seconds on stage 3. Johnny Gemmell does his talking on the stages, and on stage 2 and 3, that is exactly what Gemmell and Zimbabwe navigator Peter Marsh did. The Castrol Toyota Auris even managed a little spin, but still set the 2nd fastest time on stage 2, and his 3rd fastest time on stage 3 was only 6 seconds behind stage 1 of Fecken, placing Gemmell 3rd on the overall standings after these 2 tricky stages. The Total Evolution Runix of Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey was the 11th car to tackle Friday's stages. Rueda was forced to retire from the previous event in Cape Town. But so far in the Sasol, the Spaniard managed to avoid the crocodiles and set competitive stage times to complete the early part of the Sasol in a very respectable 6th overall. Polokwane businessmen Tian Subert and Henny Botha are still paying school fees in only their 3rd ever event behind the wheel of the Salom Group S2000 Polo. Subert has finished both previous outings in the top 10 and after stage 3 found himself in a career best 7th position overall.
After nearly 50 kilometers of rough gravel road action, Fecken is on course to turn his dream into a reality. But the charging Castrol Toyotas of Crony and Gemmell are both only 10 seconds behind. Keane is losing touch with the leaders, and thanks to the puncture curse, Habig disappears from the top 10. After the break, the dust flies as the contenders put their skills and machines through their paces in front of thousands of rally fans. Will Fecken hang on to his dream, or will Gemmell and Cronier crush it? In the forest of Mpumalanga, and as always, we are in the middle of yet another battle between Volkswagen and Toyota. Fecken did the early flying, but both the Toyotas of Gemmell and Cronier are tied for 2nd position and breathing down his neck. At only 13 kilometers, stage 4 is the last gravel stage of the day and the last real chance for anyone to try and stamp his authority on the event. But stage 4 is also full of rough jumps and bumps and takes the competitors through the famous Spitskop village.
Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman had loads of time to try and make up after the adventures from earlier on the day. On stage 4, the Pertex Subaru managed the 10th fastest time. Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey continued their steady run in the Total Evolution Runix with another top 10 stage time on stage 4, just 2 seconds faster than Du Plessis.
It's good, the car is fantastic, and yeah, the roads are very good.
The Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich were once again in the lead of the production car category, exactly what Sasol were asking them to do on their own event. Wilkin closed the gap between himself and Rueda by 2 seconds on stage 4.
We were struggling a little bit in the beginning and got a bit better pace there, but the roads are extremely slippery in the front.
The New Africa Development's Toyota Runix of Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton got a new set of tyres during the service break. And in his efforts to make up for lost time, van Niekerk recorded the 7th fastest time. Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson completed the tricky 13-kilometer stage in a time of 8 minutes and 23 seconds in their BP Ultimate Polo, but it was only good enough for the 6th fastest time.
Hairpin left now, log with logs, into right 6 in, right 6 in.
Times were getting close once again, and although Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh managed to beat Keane's time by 4 seconds, the Castrol Toyota Auris gave a few seconds away to their main rivals. But it was literally only a few seconds, as the BP Polo of leaders Hergen Fekken and Pierre Harries only managed to extend their lead over the Auris from 10 seconds to 11 seconds. BP Ultimate teammates Jan Habig and Douglas Judd had nothing to lose and everything to gain, and were on a charge to move back up the leaderboard. They equaled Fekken's time on stage 4 and moved back into the top 10. And then JP Damson and Andre Vermeulen proved that their stage-winning time on stage 1 early on the day was no fluke. The Total Evolution Runix recorded a time of 8 minutes and 17 seconds, a single second faster than Fekken and Habig. At the start of this stage, the Castrol Toyota Auris of Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley were tied with Gemmell for 2nd position and 10 seconds behind Fekken's lead. But a stage-winning time of 8 minutes and 16 seconds broke the tie.
Yeah, no, we had a clean run there. I tried to push a little bit, still a bit slippery. 1 or 2 little corners that caught us out, but I enjoyed that one,
Fekken's 10-second lead shrinks to just 8 over Cronje, with Gemmell a further 3 seconds back. Keane looks comfortable in 4th, 15 seconds ahead of Damso. Wilkin leads production cars and Habig returns to the top 10. The 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship is once again turning into a battle of epic proportions, with only seconds separating Toyota and Volkswagen's finest.
I'm happy with 8 seconds. Would have preferred if it was 20, but 8's fine.
And also it was very tricky. I mean, there were times on the road where it was really, really slow, you know, and I thought, sure, you know, the guys are killing us, but I think they also struggled a bit today.
Yeah, I could have been closer. Then stage 2 we had a bit of a problem. We sort of spun and stalled the car and got restarted and got going, and our time was only just a couple of seconds off the fastest. So it would have been a bit closer now, but still we got a long day tomorrow.
After more than 60 kilometers of rough gravel road action, the crews will once again get the opportunity to entertain the large crowds who have flocked to Sabi for the traditional Sasol Sabi town twister. This short tarmac stage is only 860 meters long, but the sun is setting, hiding the many pavements in darkness. Besides pride and the respect of all these fans, a driver has very little to gain in a stage like this. But with solid concrete obstacles only millimeters away, everything to lose. But then again, in a battle this close, every second counts.
The rally leaders, Fekken and Harries, gave a fantastic show by powering the BP Ultimate Polo to a stage-winning time of 1 minute and 9 seconds. Normally, a number of drivers will all record the exact same time on a stage like this one. But in Sabi, teammates Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson were the only ones capable of matching Fekken's time. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh lost another 2 seconds to Fekken with a time of 1 minute and 11 seconds in their Castrol Toyota Auris, while Habig and Judd matched the same time in typical Habig spectacular fashion. Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley gave away 3 seconds to the leaders and allowed Castrol Toyota teammate Gemmell to close the gap to a mere 2 seconds. The production Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich equaled Cronje's time of 1 minute and 12 seconds, much to the delight of the Sasol fans. From Stabi, the Sasol moved down the road to the town of White River for another short but spectacular display of tar driving skills in front of even more rally fans. At just 750 meters, the Sasol White River run was even shorter than the stage in Sabi, but 750 meters were enough to change the look on the overall leaderboard. Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich entertained a large crowd with a time of just 42 seconds to record their first Sasol stage win in the Sasol Konica Subaru. But at the top of the leaderboard, a time of 43 seconds was enough for Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh to overtake Castrol Toyota teammates Mark Ronnie and Robert Paisley for second position. As expected, times were close, with only single seconds separating BP Ultimate teammates Fecken, Keen and Habich.
Rallying is all about the big names like the Kuhns, Feckens, Hubbichs, Gemmells, Corniers, Damsos and Wilkins. But even the big names had to start somewhere, like in the lower classes.
In the production car class, Chase Atwell and navigator Brian Carriel have had a tough time of late. But the Zimbabwean youngster is now getting used to the four-wheel drive Subaru Impreza and was setting good stage times, enough to end day one of the Sasol as the second-place production car driver. Chad Coetzee is a relative newcomer to Class M4 production car rallying after acquiring the ex-Hein Latergan Diesel Technique Subaru Impreza. For the Sasol, Coetzee also acquired the services of former national rally winner Etienne Lawrence as a navigator, and it worked. Coetzee was not in touch with the production car leaders, but managed a fine third position at the end of day one. In the Premier front-wheel drive class, Class A7, current champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis finally managed to start a rally, but the gearbox on the Total Evolution Runix only lasted 2 stages before they recorded their third consecutive retirement of the season. Class A7 championship points leaders Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke didn't even make the start of the Sasol, as the Panos Seeds VW Polo crashed out on the shakedown stage. The team motorized Runix of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee was once again in a battle for the Class A7 lead, but as so many times before, was forced to settle for second position. This time, Class A7 was all about the USN Spike Energy Drink Toyota Corolla of Skalk Burger and Armand de Tooy. Burger Jr., the son of former rally champion Skalk Burger, finally managed to keep his engine firing on all cylinders and went to bed on day one as the clear Class A7 leader. As always, the trio of Total Evolution Toyotas were locked in battle for Class A6 honours. Rodney Versage and Kellen Swan drove hard, but completed the 7 stages of day one in third position. Current class champion Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee occupied second, but only by a slender 4 seconds from teammate Versage, setting the scene for a fantastic battle on day 2. But as with both previous events, the Class A6 pace was set by the Total Evolution Toyota Auris of Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin. Besides having his sights set on the Class A6 championship, Musa is a real star of the future and again proved it by placing his Class A6 car in between faster machinery. Class A5 is the current entry-level class for national rallying and the place where many rally legends learned their ropes. The fight between BP Ultimate City Golf teammates Andre Kleinberg and Des de Fortier and Gugu Zulu and Carl Beskin has been a good one so far, but on the Sasol, champion Kleinberg had to give up early on during day one, thanks to a broken engine. Port Elizabeth youngster Morna Janssen van Rensburg and Gewald Harting drove well to make third position their own in the GC Diesel Golf. But they were nearly half a minute behind the Total Evolution Toyota Yaris of Vusi Mabanga and Sean Visser. With no Kleinberg, Gugu Zulu and Carl Beskin ended day one as Class A5 leaders with a more than comfortable lead over their rival. In the remaining production car class, Class N3, Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan were once again on track to record their third successive victory in the Team Sasol Toyota Runix. Compton completed day one with a massive 7-minute advantage over the Ford Fiesta of Tony Barbosa and Kenny Hill.
Day one of the demanding Sasol Rally came to an end as the remaining crews returned to Nelspruit for a welcome rest. As always, day 2 would be an even longer day, and the day that will decide the outcome of the Sasol. Fecken has a dream, but Gemmell and Cronier have other plans. It's day 2 of the famous Sasol Rally, the day that would decide the outcome of round 3 of the Sasol South African Rally Championship. Pride is at stake here, but also a spot at the top of the championship points table. It's quite fitting then that the names Fecken and Gemmell, the 2 drivers tied at the top of the current championship points table, are also on the top of the overall standings going into day 2. But 14 seconds is all that stands between Fecken in the lead and Cronier in third.
Before returning to the forest, the drivers will first have to battle it out on the streets of Nelspruit.
This is stage 7, the extremely popular Sasol sensational stage in front of thousands of people in the streets of Nelspruit. It's a super special stage where evenly matched cars race each other on different loops of the same course. In a close dice, the 2 cars should reach the flying finish at the same time, adding to the excitement for the large crowds.
Yeah!
First up, BP Ultimate Polo versus Castrol Toyota Auris. Rally leader Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aries and Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley. Cronje is a former multiple circuit racing champion, as well as a world go-karting champion, and put his dart driving skills to excellent use by setting a blistering time of 1 minute and 7 seconds. Fecken took it easy, perhaps too easy, and lost 4 seconds to Cronje. 4 seconds that could come back and haunt him later on. In another BP Ultimate Volkswagen and Castrol Toyota battle, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd squared up against Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh. This time, Volkswagen turned the tables as Habig flew past the finish, with Gemmel more than 2 seconds behind.
2, 1, go.
Fourth placed Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were locked in battle with fifth place JP Damser and Andre Vermeulen. On the Nelspruit streets, Keen won this battle by 4 seconds over the Total Evolution running.
Keep left now, keep left now.
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich in the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru, and Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra in the Toyota Runex. Production car versus S2000, and on this occasion, there was nothing in it, not even a single second.
After the break, Sasol Rally action returns to the forest rally roads around Sabi for the final showdown on 6 more gravel stages of the 2009 Sasol Rally. Hergen Fecken only has a few stages between himself and his dream of winning the Sasol, but Cronje and Gemmel are only seconds behind. It's almost impossible to think that 2 or even more drivers can complete an event on exactly the same time, the same second. But this is a definite possibility, and to avoid this from happening in the future, the organizers of the Sasol experimented with advanced timing systems that measure a rally car's stage time to the 10th of a second. The Instrotech rally timing equipment showed what the future will bring, and who knows, soon we can have a driver winning a 2-day rally by a 10th of a second. For stage 8 and 9, it was back to the Kumatiland forests, the same scene for stages 2 and 3 from the day before. And once again, these 2 tricky stages will have to be covered without any service in between, bringing the puncture curse back into the equation. It's also where Habig lost his chance to compete for Sasol Rally honours.
As rally leaders, Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aries got to choose their road position for day 2. And for once, the teams figured that first on the road is the better place to be. The thinking is that these stages were already used the day before, and that road sweeping would therefore not play a role. Fecken decided that running first will eliminate the risk of getting stuck in someone's dust. The BP Ultimate Polo flew through stage 8 in a time of 13 minutes and 2 seconds, or a full 10 seconds faster than his time from the day before.
It's much better than yesterday. Yesterday we had a lot of dust in this stage.
But Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh, from 7th on the road in their Castrol Toyota Auris, had other ideas. Gemmel's speed was simply breathtaking as the Auris flew past the flying finish in a blistering time of 12 minutes and 55 seconds, or a full 20 seconds faster than his time for Friday. But more importantly, 7 seconds faster than Fecken. The gap between the leading duo was now just 6 seconds.
Yeah, nice time. It's a pity we didn't do it yesterday. We had a little bit of a problem, but it was good.
Fecken and Aries, however, responded on stage 9 with a time of 12 minutes and 34 seconds, beating their own time from the day before by a massive 14 seconds, sending a clear message to Gemmel. The Castrol Toyota Auris was driven hard on stage 9, also going considerably quicker than its time on Friday, but only managed a time of 12 minutes and 39 seconds. The gap between them was now back up to 11 seconds. The second Castrol Toyota of Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley started the day's gravel action just 10 seconds behind Fecken and in second place, but a time of 13 minutes and 8 seconds on stage 8 saw them slip past their teammate Gemmel. Cronje managed to equal Gemmel's time on stage 9, but found himself a full 10 seconds behind his teammate. Perhaps he decided that it was time to settle for third.
Over junction and then bump and then 180. Chris Mitty to caution, jumped up at the top.
We caught quite a bit of dust there, so it was a bit tricky in the dust, you know, so yeah.
2, 1, go. Left 5 in and care. Right 3 in.
This time round, there was no fire inside the BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson, but the lengthy Cape Townians simply could not keep up with the pace of the leading trio. Keane lost 20 seconds to the leaders in stage 8 and a further 18 seconds in stage 9. But more importantly, now found himself a full 21 seconds behind Cronje in third. It seemed like Keane was prepared to settle for fourth. Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich started the day in 6th position in their Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru. But the leading production car driver gained another position after the overnight 5th place Total Evolution Runix of JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen refused to start on day 2. Damso was forced to withdraw from the Sasol, handing his 5th place to Wilkin, who now also had a commanding production car lead.
Yeah, I nursed the car a little bit over the rough stuff there. So the time's not that bad, but you might have a broken shock in the back now.
The remaining Total Evolution Runix of Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey started Saturday's gravel road action just 6 seconds behind the Subaru of Wilkin, but a puncture cost him valuable time. After this loop of stages, the gap between 5th and 6th position grew to 23 seconds.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. We had a puncture 8Ks in the left rear and we just drove. We had to drive it out, you know.
But the Spaniard had another problem because the BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig and Douglas Judd was on a charge. Habig dropped out of the top 10 due to punctures on Friday, but even another puncture on stage 8 couldn't stop his charge back up the leaderboard. After stage 9, the multiple champion had moved back into 7th position, just 16 seconds behind Rueda.
9 stages have been completed, and as in Cape Town 3 weeks earlier, the battle at the front was fierce. Hergen Fecken has never won the prestigious Sasol, but is in a good position to do it this year. Gemmel was now his main rival, although Mark Cronje was still within striking distance, but 21 seconds behind. With only an 11-second lead, Fecken could not afford to take it easy.
We were just in front, you know, we leading by 11 seconds now. We were 13 ahead. So it's not much. We lost 7, we took 5 back, so it's going to be one of those days.
Gemmel was in a destructive mood and determined to chase Fecken down.
Ferguson's going well. First one we did a nice time this morning. Second one he took a little bit of time back, so I think it's now 11 or 12 seconds. But we're doing a 20k stage now, just under 21, so we'll see what we can do there. It's actually the first time we're going through it, so he's first on the road, so maybe he'll lose a little bit there and we might gain. We've been 7th on the road.
Was Mark Cronje settling for 3rd, or could he still have a say?
But we're going into a new stage now, so he's going to have to sweep the road for us, and let's see what happens.
Stage 10 was a virgin stage with 20 kilometers of untouched rough gravel roads on the outskirts of Sabi. This meant that Fecken had to fulfill the role as road sweeper, so his decision to be first on the road for Saturday could backfire on this stage.
The BP Ultimate Polo of Hergen Fecken and Pierre Harris blasted through the Komatiland forest in a quest for Sasol glory. The conditions were rough, but Fecken kept his foot flat and set the benchmark time of 13 minutes and 29 seconds.
2 rock on your side. C100 right 7 up. We pushed quite hard in this stage. I wanted to make a bit of a gap.
Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley were hoping for one last chance to influence the outcome, but the Castrol Toyota Auris crossed the flying finish in a time of 13 minutes and 30 seconds, losing another second to the leader.
Jump left 4, caution jump left 4 here. Into right 5 in, opens and then 17.
Disappointed because I think we should have taken time off the back, man.
So it was now up to Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh in the second Castrol Toyota Auris to now take the fight to Fecken. Gemmel looked fast. The time to beat was 13 minutes and 29 seconds. Gemmel approaches the flying finish and crosses it in a time of 13 minutes and 24 seconds. Fecken's lead has again gone from 11 to just 6 seconds. This great Sasol battle has now turned into a 2-horse race between Fecken and Gemmel as the BP Ultimate Polo and the Castrol Toyota Auris were trading fastest stage times on every stage so far on day 2. On stage 11, a repeat from stage 1 from the day before, Gemmel looked fast. But Fecken looked just a little faster going through one of the many tricky corners. Gemmel and Marsh stopped the watch at 6 minutes and 4 seconds, but would it be enough to keep Fecken at bay? No, Fecken goes faster by 3 seconds and extends his lead again to 9 seconds.
Time to catch a breath as the battle moved on to stage 12, a repeat from stage 10 just hours before. During the first run over this stage, Fecken swept the road and lost 5 seconds to his rival Gemmel. As all the cars have now driven over the stage, road sweeping will not be a factor anymore. But can he keep the charging Toyota at bay this time round?
They certainly tried. The BP Ultimate Polo flew through stage 12 with Fecken and Aris driving as if their life depended on it. Remember, this is the elusive Sasol Rally that Fecken wants to win most. His time on this same stage a few hours ago was 13 minutes and 29 seconds, but this time Fecken recorded a time of 13 minutes and 19 seconds, a full 10 seconds faster than before. But what could Gemmel and Marsh do? The Sasol Toyota Auris was now also familiar with the rough conditions on the stage, and Gemmel put the hammer down. It is so difficult to see a speed difference with the naked eye, but the Auris looked faster. And then the stopwatch confirmed it, 13 minutes and 10 seconds, a full 9 seconds faster than Fecken. And for the first time today, we have a tie at the top of the leaderboard.
After nearly 160 kilometers of flat-out gravel racing, not even a single second could separate the BP Ultimate Polo of Fecken and Aris and the Castrol Toyota Auris of Gemmel and Marsh.
While Fecken and Gemmel were battling for overall Sasol honours, the remaining crews in the other national rally classes were having their own fights. Off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison and the daughter of rally legend Cassie Gutsia, Alvin, are getting better and better during every outing, and the team motorized Toyota Runex. Hutchison has finished every event so far this year in second position in Class A7, and the Sasol was no different. The motorized Runex reached the end in 14th position overall, and again second in Class A7. But Class A7 on the Sasol belonged to none other than Northern Region's rally champions Skalkberger Jr. and Armand de Tooy, and their slightly older but still very fast USN Spike Energy Drink Toyota Corolla. Berger has been on the pace since joining this class, but on both previous occasions, the engine in the Corolla let him down. The same engine again only fired on 3 cylinders for most of this event, but it couldn't stop Berger from claiming his first Class A7 victory and 11th overall.
We had a terrible season, starting 2 rallies, playing 2 engines, and yeah, third time lucky.
Class A6 veteran Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee started day 2 of the Sasol marginally ahead of teammates Rodney Versage and Carolyn Swan and the similar Total Evolution Toyota Runex. But Versage managed to overhaul Trott on stage 8. There's no love lost between these 2 teammates, and what followed was a great battle with only seconds separating the 2 throughout the day. In the end, it was Versage who beat Trott by a slender 9 seconds. But their great battle was only good enough for second position, as Class A6 belonged to the talents of Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin. The Total Evolution Auris won almost every stage, and Musa not only managed to win Class A6 by a rather large margin of nearly 2.5 minutes, but also finished the Sasol in a very respectable 12th position overall, ahead of some of the faster N4 and A7 cars.
We've become one with the car. It's been really great. And the Sasol normally treats us well, so yeah, I'm really, really happy.
In Class A5, for rapid little front-wheel drive City Golfs and Toyota Yaris's, former champions Gugu Zulu and Carl Beskin's run ended early on during day 2, when a broken engine forced them to retire after stage 8. This allowed Port Elizabeth teenager Morna Janse van Rensburg and navigator Dewald Hutton to take the class lead in their GC diesel-sponsored City Golf. But they were attacked throughout the day by the little Total Evolution Yaris of Vusi Mabanga and Sean Visser. Going into the final few stages, Janse van Rensburg had his nose slightly in front, but a puncture near the end handed the victory to determined Mabanga, who never gave up. It was an emotional moment for Mabanga and Visser, who recorded their first ever class win in frand of a packed Nelspruit crowd.
We had our problems, we had our ups and downs, but we're happy to be at the end and we're happy to have a podium finish.
Class N3 for near-standard production cars with engines up to 2 litres in capacity is usually a playground for a few Toyota Runexes, but on the Sasol, the Ford Fiesta of Tony Barbosa and Kenny Hill joined the action. As the only other Class N3 finisher, Barbosa claimed the second position, but he was no match for the speed of the Team Sasol Toyota Runex of Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan. Compton moved up to this class only 3 events ago, and although there is a lack of real competition, Compton impresses on each outing. He rewarded sponsor Sasol with a fine 17th position overall and a hat-trick of Class N3 wins.
Yeah, you know, I was always wondering what it felt like for the cricket guys to do a hat-trick, and now I know. Yes, brilliant.
The The 2009 Sasol Rally was coming to an end, but the action was far from over. In the production car category, newcomer Charles Coetzee and experienced driver turned navigator Etienne Lawrence were having a solid and steady run in their diesel Technique Subaru Impreza. It is only Coetzee's second outing in the turbo-breathing monster, but with the help from Lawrence in the passenger seat, Coetzee managed to survive the rough Sasol roads to claim his first ever production car podium. Etienne Joubert and Henny Boert has continued their good season with another solid performance in the Salon Group S2000 Polo. Joubert is a very neat driver who rarely makes mistakes, and was it not for a puncture that cost the pairing more than 5 minutes, the Polokwane businessman could have recorded his best ever result. But he had no choice than to be satisfied with 10th position overall. Visser du Plessis and Gerard Snyman started day 2 of the Sasol in a lonely 19th position overall, following all their problems of day 1. On day 2, the Pertex Subaru driver put in a spirited drive in his charge back up the leaderboard. In typical du Plessis fashion, it was still an eventful day that included an overshoot and time lost due to the car going into limp mode. But they still managed to reach the end in 9th position overall, and enough for second in the production car category. For most of the Sasol Rally, Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyler were praying for it to end. The unsponsored Runix broke its power steering early on during day 1. And with the team unable to fix it, Ryan was forced to drive almost the entire event without any steering assistance. His hands were blistered and his arms exhausted, but Ryan is a fighter and reached an Nelspruit finish in a very respectable 8th position overall. Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey were hoping for a 6th place finish, but a punch on stage 10 brought an end to their chances of achieving it. The Spaniard still had a steady event in his Total Evolution Toyota Runix and bags valuable points for a fine 7th position overall. The Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich occupied 5th position for most of day 2, but the Subaru found the roads rough and broke a number of shock absorbers. The team ran out of spares, forcing Wilken to take it somewhat easier over the latter part of the event. Wilken had no choice but to settle for 6th place overall. But this result was also enough for the current production car champions to claim their 3rd successive production car win of the season. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd are arguably the most spectacular team in South African rallying, and on day 2 of the Sasol, the crowds were once again entertained by a fine display of driving skill and car control as Habig clawed his way back up the leaderboard. But after losing so much time due to punctures on day 1, there was no way that even Habig and his BP Ultimate Polo could climb higher than 5th place overall.
You know, we did the best we could and passed all the guys that was within reach.
4th place on any Sasol South African National Rally is always an achievement. But this year, Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson were definitely not satisfied with 4th. Keane has won this event many times, but this year the BP Ultimate Polo could simply not stay in touch with the leaders. The former champion has shown in the past that when he bounces back, he will force everyone to up their game again. And fans of the popular Cape Townian can't wait.
Bad rock mid on entry, 100 down, right 5.
Mark Lonier and Robert Paisley would probably have preferred to fight for the overall victory. The Castrol Toyota Auris driver pushed hard all of Saturday, but gave up the fight midway through day 2. He was simply not willing to take any further risks, and risks were clearly needed in order to achieve anything better than 3rd overall. 3rd place was now also Cronier's 2nd successive finish, and a position from where he will undoubtedly launch his attack in rallies to come.
With just one real gravel stage to go, a reminder of the incredible situation at the top of the leaderboard. Ergen Frecken had a slender lead all day, but Johnny Gemmell closed the gap on the stage before, and these two rivals are now tied for the lead.
It's exactly tied, 0 seconds. So 2 stages to go, have to push hard. What can we do?
Yeah, we're level now with 1 major stage to go, 13 Ks. Yesterday, Ergen was just 1 second faster, but I think maybe we'll give it a go, I'll say that.
This is it, the final battleground of the 2009 Sasol Rally. The 13 kilometers that will not only decide who wins the rally, but since the 2 contenders are also tied on the championship points log, it will also decide who leaves Mpumalanga as the championship leader.
With now everything to drive for, Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aris put the hammer down on stage 13, the same stage as stage 4 from the day before. They would therefore be familiar with this stage and will also have a benchmark time. On Friday, it took the BP Ultimate Polo 8 minutes and 18 seconds to complete these 13 kilometers. But in a fight for overall rally honors, Fekken flew over the line in a time of 8 minutes and 10 seconds, or 8 seconds faster than on Friday. But would it be fast enough?
Yeah, let's just say I think that's what we can do.
It was now in the hands of Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh. It took the Sasol Toyota Auris 8 minutes and 19 seconds to complete this stage on Friday. But anything slower than Fekken's time of 8 minutes and 10 seconds will not be enough. Gemmell is approaching the flying finish. It looks fast, but is it fast enough? Yes, 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Gemmell wins the Sasol Rally by 4 seconds, much to the delight of the Toyota team.
Now you've got to go harder, you can't play.
Happy?
Yeah, very. Very. For the team as well.
It wasn't quite over yet, as the rally still had a very short 320-meter stage through the Nelspruit Showgrounds, but it was extremely unlikely that 320 meters would influence the outcome. Fekken and Gemmell duly set identical times to end one of the greatest Sasol rallies of them all. Besides all the action and drama, there are a number of additional factors that make the Sasol Rally more than just a rally, but also an experience and a huge success.
It is a very exciting partnership. All along we've been running this sponsorship alone, but the fact that it's making such an impact in terms of economic development of Mpumalanga. For the whole weekend we come here, the small and medium enterprises make a roaring business. The hotels here are all fully booked. We've launched a new packaging that is user-friendly, that is able to actually make a customer, a client, to use our lubricants much more better.
We might have said these words before, but this really was one of the best finishes we've ever seen in Sasol South African rallying. Gemmell drove the rally of his life to win it by 4 seconds and to crush Fekken's dream of winning the Sasol. At the impressive podium ceremony at the Nelspruit Showgrounds, it was time for Gemmell and Marsh to celebrate their second victory of 2009. But this one must have been very sweet.
Yeah, no, very happy. It was quite a tough event. Yesterday started off, you know, we were just 11 seconds from Hergen. Then the next one, he got a bit further ahead, and then we got closer, and it was back and forth like that for most of the day.
It was so close yet so far for Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aris, and Fekken's dream will have to wait another year.
I must say, Johnny drove a very good race today. We were 30 seconds in the lead going in today, and he's taking a lot of time on his stage. So in the end, he beat us by 4 seconds.
Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley make a welcome return to the podium and will have even better results in their sights for the rest of the season.
Going from 4th to 3rd, you know, hopefully for the future we can build on it. The vehicle feels great. The guys are doing a good job.
For the first time ever, all 3 top finishers in the production car category also got the opportunity to taste the sweet taste of champagne from the podium. Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich are on a winning streak. Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman will hope for a better result next time. And Chad Coetzee together with Etienne Lawrence completed the production car podium.
The traditional